didn't work for basically 2 years. They got into one final that was pretty solid, but Sven did not find the same success on TSM. He comes to Cloud9. There's a great soundbite in week 1 where he's like, finally, a game with mid difference. Yeah. But he's been really, really good on C9 now as well. So it's cool to see players, you know, they're good or they're not quite winning or whatever. This group is working well.
I mean, it's kind of the Sven Skaren arc, right? And
yeah.
Sven Skaren, you know, left TSM, had a lot of success with Cloud9. You know, we'll see if that's going to be able to be repeated here from Sven. But we are finally now into Champ Selects. We can focus on these 2 teams here. 100 Thieves going to be going up against Cloud9. And I'm really interested to see if we're going to have any more kind of mix-ups as far as pick and ban, any kind of interesting picks coming out. Jarvan has been, I think, one of the big go-tos for Meteos. It is a very popular jungle throughout the league, but there are some players who really highly prize this pick, you know, above the Lee Sins, above the Gragas's, you know, of the world, which I think it kind of, it's more easy to play, you know, as you're going into the kind of mid and late game stages. It does have some early game skirmishing power, but you know, the playmaking potential, I think, of a Jarvan is much lower than that of a Gragas or a Lee Sin in the later stages. So you're kind of having that trade-off there.
Right, absolutely. And we'll see if it does come through with the final pick for the second phase of bans right now, as Cloud9 need to lock in their final champion. And there's the Lee Sin that we're really kind of expecting here for Blabber. Already put 2 games on it before. Leafs is already banned away, so his 3rd Lee Sin game. Kind of almost single-handedly propping up the Lee Sin win rate. The winningest champion in the league. Well, it turns out when you're the winningest team in the league and it's all you play, that works pretty well for champion win rates.
Well, 2 games on it.
I know. I'm just like, super early stats are always a little XD because, like, well, yes, 2 of the 6 wins are on the best team in the league.
100% win rate in 1 game.
Wow, incredible.
LeBlanc pushed in under the turret. If LeBlanc distorts forward, you can answer that with a binding. You have the black shield to actually immune the root coming out from the chains there, and you are going to be, you know, very powerful at supporting and protecting the Senna or even the Camille, who's going to be able to kind of go forward in some of these team fights. You know, Senna can sometimes be very vulnerable to champions like Leona, but when you have this Morgana with the super powerful black shield, you know, amped up by all the AP later in the game, well, it becomes very difficult to actually break that for a Leona, and then you're becoming dependent upon, you know, LeBlanc getting back there too, and that can be really tough.
Yeah, and you're expecting, of course, the side lane fight to go pretty well. Camille, of course, getting the counterpick into Aatrox. This is another game where we've seen a team get counterpick on both solo lanes. Very frequently, you'll see a blue side draft where you just go jungle bot lane in 1-2-3, and then trade a counterpick for a counterpick, and you go there. 100 Thieves went for the early Aatrox, went for the early LeBlanc. Well, I mean, they had to at the very end. You had to pick LeBlanc at some point, and double counterpick for C9 should look very good on all the solos. The bot lane, again, can look pretty nice as well. They got the priority pick on the Senna, so power pick-wise, you have to assume this looks good for C9.
Yeah, I really like the draft for C9. That being said, I do think it is low on consistent damage if you have a poor early game. you can sometimes get run over with these types of compositions where all of a sudden you're just not actually putting out enough damage to burst people down. Things like the Aatrox and Leona, and as well as this Jarvan flying forward, can be very problematic for, you know, the Senna to actually really kind of work her way through.
Yeah.
Also worth noting, this is going to be a Dark Harvest Senna. So
yeah.
we have been seeing almost exclusively Glacial Augment. That is mostly about, you know, that kind of stacking up of the souls, being able to land an auto into a Q for that 2-hit combo. Dark Harvest is, you know, higher damage, of course, but you do have to trade aggressively to really get a lot out of it, because a low stacked Dark Harvest isn't actually adding much damage later on in the game. So we'll see if they are going to be trading more aggressively, playing more aggressively as a result of this summoner to try to really get a lot out of it.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to try their very best, of course, to do so. And I know last time we saw the Dark Harvest, it had, I think, 2 harvest stacks at like 25-ish minutes, which means the Keystone is used literally twice. Not the most strong, but you know, you mentioned the team being a little bit low damage. Dark Harvest can help just a little bit in getting through that difficulty.
And this is going to be a 4-man invade. This is actually a double sweeper start. So they actually used Niski's sweeper to sweep out that side lane ward. Then they sweep all the way in here for Vulcan, and they know this has not been spotted. It may be sussed out simply because of where that first sweeper was used, but pretty interesting. They do spot Vulcan and Sven coming back to lane, so they are going to know exactly what's going on now, just based on the direction that they actually came through. Meteos will run straight to the red buff, and 100 Thieves did get the shove in that bot lane, so it is going to be some CS missed.
They're going to try for a fight right here. If Niski can find a binding, maybe. Gets a slow, walks away. Of course, keep in mind, Glacial Morgana, so the auto attack slow can set up. Also, Jarvan was not seen going into this red buff. He jumped over the wall with EQ, so despite the wards, he got to bypass all of them, and Blabber knows the red is gone.
Yeah, Blabber just tried to run straight red to red, so he was hoping that Meteos was going to be a little bit slower. Had Meteos gone, say, blue to Gromp to red, he would have actually gotten there in time to stop that and get that 3-buff start. But because Meteos knew what was going on, ran straight for it, he is able to grab the opponent's red buff and stay even as far as those go.
A little bit of poke right there. Again, Niski just pushing up a little bit and finding some room for harass. Oh, dropped his first CF in the lane. Now a trade comes in. Ryoma gets the electrocute off, and a nice bind. Niski gonna find some good damage here.
Yeah, good bit of damage. And the W cooldown is going to be reset for every tick on cannons as well as champions. So you're seeing that he's trying to place that so that it is always on the cannon if he's not going to be able to hit the blanc to keep the cooldown low and maintain the push. Also worth mentioning that it is Glacial Augment on the Morgana, so this is going to be the Super Soaker Spooky Ghost type setup. That is going to help with their engage, be able to scout out opponents, be able to slow them down for potential Nautilus or Lee Sin engage, or even for that follow-up from Sven.
For now, slightly defensive skill ordering. Gets Black Shield on 3. I think it's probably correct when you're against a matchup that wants to fight you and a Jarvan that wants to knock you down. Of course, Ryoma is the only one with enough magic damage to get rid of Black Shield, so he has to beat the trip. Yep, there we go. No root. Gets one himself back, though. And Niski wins the trade.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons it's considered such a good matchup, is that you can always use that Black Shield for the second half of that chains. That's where a lot of the damage is, and that's also where that root is going to come through. So being able to immune that, pretty big deal. It also has felt like so much of the game really has been about pushing lanes. Can you actually get priority in your lane, be able to shove, and allow your jungler to get access to things like the Rift Herald, to get access to things like that Dragon, and Morgana is really going to excel in that regard. It's just not much that LeBlanc can actually do to kind of out-wave clear Morgana.
All right, now we go and look at the game state once again. Early laning lead to Cloud9's side. Some of that is pushing waves that have not yet been answered just yet, but you're seeing 7 CS difference up in the top lane, 10 in the mid without 10 there. Even the bot lane looking pretty solid here, so you gotta say good start to Cloud9. As this wave gets pushed in down here, Sven and Vulcan doing just fine, and I'm waiting for Cody and Vulcan to hang out in the outfield together.
Yeah, it was a nice start, though, from the 100 Thieves bot lane as far as they actually kind of got that early recall off. They pushed in their opponents very heavily, so went back to base, double Doran's already purchased up here for Cody's-son. Doran's Blade stacking, really effective on MF. It is one of those champions that I talked about, you know, can be somewhat vulnerable to all-ins. This is something that helps to alleviate that, not only through the effectiveness of all the lifesteal and the AD to keep you healthy, but you're getting a lot of flat HP that can help you survive against early all-ins when you are going to 3-4 Doran's Blades, as a lot of MF players like to go.
Yeah, I've seen 4 Doran's Blade stuff. I don't think we're going to go all that far in this game, but yeah, can have a lot of power. In this one, we're seeing from Solo, deal plenty of damage here in the mid lane as he keeps going, but the CS difference closing a bit. Ryoma doing pretty solidly here in this matchup, has burned his first TP for the recall, right? Got the Rush the Corrupting Potion, the Doran's Ring, and the extra Fairy Charm for some mana gain. Yeah, just 5 minutes in, so the Dragon is alive, and you might see that attempt for the very early Solo Mountain Drake.
Yeah, and that Fairy Charm is not going to be turned into a tier. You know, that is just for mana regen for the laning phase. It's something that we used to see.
They are fighting, and Meteos forced away despite the fact that Ryoma's going to be there first.
But Vulcan would be there first too, right?
Yeah.
So that is kind of the key there, that they would have that extra mana, and Niski was still pretty close. But yeah, the Fairy Charm just for laning. We used to see people kind of go rejuve feed and then just sell that off later on. That's going to be the same idea here. Really don't see the blunt force here whatsoever.
The route towards stunt, not going to go for the play, though. They could have gone for the anchor and tried to make it happen, but Meteos on that control, we're going to make it not happen here, and now attempt to the bottom side. They're going to find a stun towards Sven, tries to walk away, but he is revealed. He's not going to get the bounce, though. Cody's on the other side, but now they go back into Meteos, forcing him away. He's rooted, though. The Q is going to land, and first blood is claimed. Now it's Stunt's turn to run. Shield comes in, Q lands, second Dark Harvest picked up there. Damage is working out.
Yeah, really well played by C9 to actually disengage this. And, oh, another hook comes in.
That's going to be a root on a Cody's Sun. The follow-through maybe is there. His Stunt is going to run out a little bit of health, but Vulcan taking some shots as well. No follow-through available. Out they go. Low health bars, though.
Yeah, very low health bars, but a bit of a mistake in that all-in from Stunt as he actually overlapped his Q and Ignite. So both were able to be cleansed off by Sven, which is really important in these early all-ins where Ignite can make up a large percentage of that damage. You have to be very careful to actually stagger those abilities. So, you know, if he cleanses the stun, you Ignite him immediately after to then get the most out of that damage.
All right, well, the Solo Mountain Drake does come through for Blabber. Wants to fight again.
So here it is one more time. They got the pass through Q, a little bit of a chunk down onto Sven. Meteos is on the side. In he goes, Zenith Blade connects. Ignite, Q, both cleansed off, as I had pointed out, and Sven able to just walk it out. That cleanse really paying dividends. The great root does connect onto Meteos, and Blabber with the easy follow-up. His Stunt was not able to get into position to actually try to tank that Q for his jungler. So first blood there over to Cloud9, and now, ooh, that is silly.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You're black shielding. It's a level 1 black shield at this point. That, to me, speaks to inexperience on the champion. If you think a level 1 black shield is going to be able to prevent him from interrupting that combo, right? Like, that is...
Yeah.
The Q is easily going to break your black shield, and then the chain will just go through. You're on a non-moving champion with no minions in between you, so...
Probably under the skill shot.
Yeah, I mean...
Odds are high Ryoma lands that skill shot.
Yeah, so Niski looking a little bit silly, but not the end of the world. He actually didn't use his TP to go back to lane. Ryoma had. He's still winning in lane, so it's not going to really mean too much, but it is 100 Thieves making the faster swap here, utilizing that good wave push with MF, and they are on this Rift Herald.
Blabber's around, though, does have Smite, does have the opening to go for it, goes, and no, it's going to go to Meteos picking it up. Nice ward up, keeps Blabber to safety, but now the re-engaged Stun coming across. Licorice, 1 Q from the kill, over the top they go. Stunt is gone, and here comes the re-engage. The kick flash just to guarantee it, and someday dies on his own day.
Yeah, they get 2 kills there for the Rift Herald. Good job by 100 Thieves to actually secure that, to make sure that Blabber wasn't able to steal this away, but still pretty costly. Little adventure there for them as they are going to lose that. And now trying to go for this blue buff.
Further shenanigans, slows are on, decent damage. Cody's on not level 6, the flag, and Meteos, with, I believe, Red Spike gets the rest of the damage, picks it up, one on the board for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, that trade back, pretty big. They do still lose that blue buff, I believe, but they are at least able to get a kill back for themselves, and we'll see how much can they get with this Rift, because that is a pretty big investment. You lost multiple lives going for it. You know, you lost kind of control of mid lane, and you are pretty far down in gold if you're 100 Thieves right now. So this really had to work out for them to kind of hang on in this game. Blabber goes in with the Q plus Smite. Let's see where he gets down to. Wow, yeah, Meteos just smote a little bit earlier. Blabber wasn't able to get his off, so great Smite there from Meteos. But then C9 is all here. They are stronger at the moment. Licorice flying in with that Senna ultimate layered over top to give him the safety to actually do so. And then just a great kick flash, you know, sectioning off the odd man out as Someday was off to the side and away from his team. So a couple kills do go C9's way, and they're up a pretty significant amount of gold here at 10 minutes.
Alrighty, 1,800 gold and a Mountain Drake, which one thing I do want to bring up about Mountain Drake is I would argue that it is better than Infernal in almost any comp as a 1-of. So if you're, let's say, Nautilus, Infernal is actually nothing for you, right? Like, you don't care about getting 6 AD in, like, one ability power.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. But Mountain Drake multiplies your base stats. And champions scale up to about 80 armor and 450 magic resist natively just by existing. So literally every champion gets a non-trivial amount of extra durability so that even if none of them buy Stone Plate and none of them buy any more Chain Vest, they're still getting more durable.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see that, right? You know, Infernal is not a big multiplier anymore. It is just the 4% ADAP. You know, I think there are some champions that kind of uniquely get more from that. You know, if you have a Veigar or a Jhin or things like that. But in general, yeah, Mount not a bad one-off dragon. In general, all the Season 10 dragons are much less powerful than they used to be in Season 9, though. So it's, you know, kind of that time investment or try to get the soul later on, as Cody has been really good at actually prepping these minions to try to get the angle on the Q pass-through damage for Sven, but able to heal that off pretty easily.
Looking for the play, nice anchor into the root, but Aftershock is on. There's a stun.
Whoa!
They're gonna knock down Blabber and go for more, but first off, the stopwatch there. Vulcan running the ult, timed perfectly for Sven, but Vulcan stopwatches as well. Ryoma, can he find the last little shot? The shield comes back in the heal, and finally out of the turret. That's a 2 for 100 Thieves. What a fight.
Really nice turnaround there. That was the C9 play they are engaging on, but Blabber had no flash, gets locked down by Stunt with Cody Sun in a great position to channel that ultimate, and Cody Sun's MF ulti got so much work done, as we will have
that's not a real fight.
Skirmish, perhaps, back and forth there, but yeah, 100 Thieves get the kills, and they also get turret plates up on that top side. So the gold gap closing quite significantly. It was, you know, just closed by a good 500 plus gold there. So going to be feeling pretty good about that, as Cloud9, Blabber right back out on the map, and they're looking for Someday here.
Oh, he hits the Alco for a second, gets away from the first stun, can't find this one though, but still juking away from all the empowered Qs. Someday not going to find anything more than a single knockout flashing away, but the Q's already landed. Blabber trying to find that fight, but without flash and without kick, can't secure that kill.
You're going to be pretty happy about that if you're Someday. Licorice missing the stun meant that he actually felt he had to flash backwards, had to get out of there, was nervous about a potential trade kill and a reset on that ulti, and Blabber in trouble now.
Gonna find the root and the follow-up, and Cody's Sun goes down.
Yeah, Blabber dies top lane, runs straight bot lane, dies there also. So is in a little bit of trouble now. That's going to be the Dragon going over the way of 100 Thieves. Someday in the 1v2 trade Summoners, gets them priority. The rest of the squad shows up and going to be feeling really good about this Dragon, but Niski is getting some damage up on that top side.
And I want to sing some praise for 100 Thieves. So it's gonna sound negative, but it's going to end positive here. The 100 Thieves 2-1 record is a little bit fraudulent right now. The wins they have are against teams with 1 or fewer wins in this season. They have had an easy schedule up to now. Cloud9, by far their hardest test. And in the last, 6 minutes, have looked really good against what is expected to be right now the best team in the league. So 100 Thieves fans, if you're hyped about the 2-1, you should be really hyped about it now because they're looking pretty good against a very strong team.
You finished strong. You finished strong.
Yeah, it started weak and ended strong.
The crowd was like, I don't know if I like this.
Yeah. Why are you saying my 2-1 record doesn't matter? It's like, hold on, I'm there for you.
A win is a win.
A win is a win. It does.
At the end of the day, but Cloud9, yeah, having some troubles here. 100 Thieves battling back after what looked to be a very dominant early game from C9. You know, they were winning in farm in all the lanes early on. They do still have pretty nice advantages in mid and bot, especially as far as the CS goes. But 100 Thieves have been finding opportunities to kind of punch back, right? And we have seen, you know, similar to yesterday, you know, Ryoma often is down in farm, but he has been able to make big contributions on the Zoe, and now looking pretty good on the LeBlanc, making some nice roams and really contributing where he can.
Someday doesn't actually get the auto attack off. He needs to get the healing, finally gets that auto down now. Nice! Oh, jukes the third Q. Here comes Senult over the top for the shield. Suddenly dodges the damage, but can he get away? There comes the second stun, and Licorice takes the kill.
Yeah, and that right there is demonstrating why that can be such a tough matchup for the Aatrox. That third Q is so much of your damage, and every Camille worth their salt will be looking to ult that to avoid that damage. And now it's Cloud9 engaging here in mid lane. Niski coming in.
The fight coming through, a kick back, gonna get him away from safety. Nowhere else to go, and Stun's gonna fall.
Yeah, that Senna also really does help when you want to look for side lane plays. You know, Licorice going to have additional confidence to actually look for that. The Camille ultimate locking you in, increasing your chance of actually landing the damage on Someday, and also guaranteeing you will get that shield over onto the Camille. So with that, in addition to the fact that you're actually ulting and immuning that Q3 damage coming through, it becomes very, very difficult for Aatrox to ever get enough damage to actually take down that Camille. And bad is going to go to worse as Cloud9 look like they should have this Rift Herald. And Licorice likely has gold for Triforce, or very close to it.
Yeah, he's got to be really close to that mark right now. It only costs 300 gold to combine from that point. So, you know, take a small bit of a wave, and then you're going to be there, and we can see that bot lane fight again.
Yeah, so here this is one more time. He's waiting in the brush, down a level, but does start this off very well with the stun, able to actually proc the auto for the passive, levels up off of one of those minions, so then even on the level 10, just trying to avoid as much of this damage as he can, and watch as he does hold. As soon as Q3 comes out, you're going to ult reactively to that, and then look very aggressively for this, calling in for the Senna ultimate, knowing that there's no way for somebody to actually escape from that.
Yeah, I'm still sad Someday managed to Q too early. He prevented his first passive auto from actually finishing the animation, and then landed 2 more Qs afterwards. That cooldown later than it should have been. May have had a chance for a second heal at some point in that fight with the ult on.
It is possible, but it didn't seem very close. You know,
yeah.
Maybe you can slink away to the turret if you can get one more, but I don't know. This early in the game, it can be very difficult. And
maybe dropping all the same, but we're going to see the top lane split push happen for Ryoma. Going to find some gold for himself. Mid Herald charge comes through. First of the game by about a second. By a full second, C9 gets first turret down the mid lane, and they might look to push even farther. Not a lot of defense. Going to get a single charge. Almost always. Then turret at 1/3, and out they walk.
Yeah, Ryoma waffling a little bit, unsure if he wanted to try to come and join or stay up to the top lane. He does decide to actually just go right back to that top lane to push out another wave. And meanwhile, on the bot side, Licorice going to be able to take down that tier 1 Cloud9. Looking to reset and I think get it out on the map to try to prepare for this next dragon that will be coming up.
Good game state right now. Cloud9 resetting with plenty of time, right? A full minute for the Drake. That's when you ideally want to have the recall coming through. It gives you time to fight for a wave control, fight over the wards back and forth, then be in position, everything else. Anything less than this, it gets a little tight to drop something on the play. So really good heads up by C9. They got the catch of the turret gold, knocked out extra control wards, and then they're ready to go to set this up.
And you'll notice, you know, some of the buys coming through here are pretty big. Triforce completed plus a stopwatch. Stopwatch ready for Blabber also here. And there's no stopwatches, you know, they're actually ready on the other side of the map here for 100 Thieves. So this is going to be a big advantage coming into this next team fight, especially on a couple of your divers who can play much more aggressively at this dragon fight, knowing that they have a stopwatch to buy time and really kind of waste the time of the carries like Cody Sun, who's going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting if they want to win a team fight.
A little bit of poke right there. Want to point out triple Ninja Tabby on 100 Thieves. They have heavily itemized against the mostly physical damage C9 lineup. I think Morgana can be a very high damage champion, but when you're going for the GLP build, it's not quite the same. You're not getting, you know, electrocute chunks down. So I think correct to mostly ignore MR. Black Shield on Vulcan, not going to get hit there, but that's now a short cooldown.
Yeah, I think they're going to be very effective, and Cody Sun has picked up a stopwatch, so 100 Thieves will have one on their side. But it's the engage coming in onto stun. TP coming in from Camille.
Okay, and that's without the Aatrox here, so 5v4. Can they find the ult? Can they find the engage? Looking out towards Meteos, going to get the ulti onto him. No good way out, but the re-engage isn't too good. The stun comes over the top. Bullet time there as well. Meteos is gone, and the shield is plenty. It's a 1-for-0. Aatrox is in, but is it going to be enough? Cody Sun being run down in the bind land. Stunt's going to be next up. 3 kills to nothing. It's a complete slaughter. 100 Thieves forced to run away.
Yeah, Cody Sun just cannot escape, and despite the fact that it looked like he had a great bullet time, Sven's ultimate, he's already level 11, and that Senna shielding negated a lot of what he was getting done there as the ultimate came across his whole team. And Cloud9 will be able to secure this dragon, get another kill for themselves, and Licorice may want more, but would be risky with Someday around.
Yeah, can't quite fight the 1v2, but still a great fight for Cloud9. 3-0 in the battle. The Cloud Drake added up on top as well. Great for Senna. Get those cross-map ults.
Yeah, it also costs Cody Sun both his summoners as well as the stopwatch. So here this is one more time. They TP in earlier. Somebody was trying to walk it down, so Cloud9 looks for that hard engage. There's a great TP ward available, but so much damage is actually coming out early on in this fight, and then Cody Sun stands forward, does get what is the good initial part of his ultimate, a lot of damage out, but Nautilus ultimate dropped over onto Cody Sun. Niski there to follow up, and that Nautilus ultimate is point and click. It's always going to interrupt that bullet time. Nothing you can really do about that. So the follow-up pretty easy for Niski, and with MF going down, 100 Thieves just didn't really have enough left in the tank.
That's the kind of thing where I was actually thinking like, hey, what about Morgana support? By the way, there's a kill. Niski taking down LeBlanc 1v1. Now Blabber inside the jungle gets a kick at the stopwatch, but does he have the way out? Tries to flash with the wall, does so, but there is Leona to set up the shutdown. Now a chase through onto Sven. He's trying to run away, gets a quick heal, gets a teammate now as well, and ooh, that anchor toss was so close, but no kill.
Yeah, 100 Thieves gonna have to back off after that. Niski may be able to get Meteos.
Oh, he's gonna walk out just in time, gets to the side.
Yeah, that flag and drag buffer, very good for Meteos, able to pull himself out of that binding it did look like, and
yeah, you can EQ out of Roots, so not a huge problem for him. But now Licorice in a 1v1, gets the true damage, gets knocked up though, has to be respectful. Conqueror is on. Decides he's gonna run away for now, but Sunday, oh, almost found that knockup.
yeah, he's gonna back off, building towards that Ravenous Hydra, so we'll be able to heal up after these types of fights. Niski now getting quite strong though, has his 2 major items completion. He has that Super Soaker as well as Spooky Ghost, so he has the double Glacial Augment items. We'll see where he wants to build into next. This is going to be that solo kill here. Niski just going straight forward. Double Distortion was used by Ryoma, so as soon as you actually use that, he just flies forward with the ultimate, locks him down. Once you are locked in the ultimate, the binding is free, the W damage is going to be guaranteed, so a little bit of an overestimation of his damage and safety on that LeBlanc, and Niski able to capitalize, and then Blabber being punished as he stepped a little bit too far. And just a great flash to avoid that anchor toss as Niski was coming down, and that could have been an additional kill for Cloud9.
Definitely could have been. Either way, still 3,500 gold, putting Cloud9 ahead, and only just about 7.5 minutes till Cloud Soul, which actually is awesome on Morgana. Getting the move speed on your ult to chase people down is actually really, really meaningful here. And now an attempt towards the mid lane. They will find a bit of a stun, but look at the re-engage. So much damage. Ryoma forced away. Ulti's up, and ooh. Can't quite kill him, but still painful all the same. They go in for round 2. Stun is going to drop now as well. 5 deaths in the game. Let's let Meteos flag and drag away.
Yeah, it's getting really tough for 100 Thieves. These fights, they're just kind of getting disengaged very easily most of the time, and then the re-engage is quite strong between Nautilus as well as the slows coming out from Morgana, and Morgana also sitting on a 12-stack Mage Eyes now, so you do have that bonus speed at 10+ stacks, so that is going to be helpful. The ultimate gives you bonus speed, and if you do get that Cloud Soul, as you're talking about, that is a really, really strong one. It's almost impossible to actually escape from the Morgana, who gets such a huge burst of move speed.
The game gets farther and farther away. 5,000 gold the lead right now. Want to do a quick soul check. There's actually 2 to do here for Sven. So for the Dark Harvest, it has been used 8 times.
That's
and
pretty
worth pointing out that because it scales on level and it scales off AD, the actual soul damage is about 30% of the damage output of this keystone. So, didn't need to stack it up heavily hard, but certainly going to be quite nice. And as far as the passive is concerned, we got a pretty clean 48 here.
Yeah, so not too bad. That is one of the things we had been kind of talking about a little bit is while Senna generally scales very well with late games, people talk about the souls and all the different range you're getting. In the LCS, there's much less fights and there's much less trading, so people don't have nearly as many souls as you sometimes would expect, right? 48, not a very big amount when you are comparing that to, say, a pretty scrappy solo queue game that you might be playing the champion in. But C9 all grouped up. It is going to be up to 100 Thieves, I think, to look for these types of clever engages, right? Get pockets of vision where you know Cloud9 can't spot you, and that's why they're trying to do right now with Ryoma and Meteos, kind of just setting up here in this brush, hoping that someone from Cloud9 is isolated and can get picked off, because it's so damn hard for LeBlanc to actually engage into a team fight against this Morgana, against this Nautilus, who can lock you down and make you feel pretty useless.
Meteos open for shenanigans down here in the brush. Pulls over Ryoma here as well. Don't believe they were spotted. Hoping to find some kind of flank. Morgana just across the wall against them. Now Vulcan going to kill a ward. Doesn't give the gold to Blabber. Selfish. Would have gotten the gold anyway. And look at that, Sven, only remaining deathless player in the LCS this year. Has had a good year with Cloud9. Short as it's been so far, but again, looking very good together.
Yeah, really strong first 2 weeks thus far, looking to make that 4-0 and in a good position to do so. They are up 5,000 gold, and I do think that they have the superior kind of team fighting composition here. With their advantage, going to be able to grab a 3rd dragon, so 1 off soul, and they will have a lot of chances to get it, right? When you are sitting at that 3-1, but before the dragons are off the map, you're going to have 3 chances at least to be able to grab that.
All right, looking good. Still, expectation was Cloud9 wins this game. Looking like it so far. We're pretty early in, and they are really far ahead, so looking like they are going to clean up here and go for the 4-0 undefeated first 2 weeks. That's what's expected to be in their future. We'll see if something turns around here, if a big play can happen.
Yeah.
100 Thieves going to need a lot to get that to come through, though.
I want to see 100 Thieves trying to be a little bit more proactive about finding picks, because I think that is one of the best ways they can get something done. Licorice is being, fairly brazen about how heavily he's pushing and actually trading with Someday at times, and perhaps they could make a move alongside Stunt, send him down to actually shadow Someday and try to look for a 2v1, try to get a kill there to make something happen, because this 4-man squad from Cloud9 has felt pretty impenetrable. Like, you can engage on the Nautilus, but he has Stoneplate. And Stoneplate turns support tanks into true tanks for the duration of it, right? It is just so damn hard to knock them down. So when you have just the Nautilus kind of wandering forward and clearing out wards, Leona can't go on that, knowing that he will not die before Morgana and Senna arrive.
Dios gets a knockup. It's away from the bind. Now a fight towards Someday at half HP already. Licorice dodges every single knockup there. And again, Cloud9 getting a lot done. 4-1 in turrets. Mage 2 already was broken a while ago. Baron on the field, but the ward control not amazing. There's a dead Scuttle Crab that gives 100 Thieves vision there, so not going to do too much just yet. But they can wait that one out and eventually go for that play.
The other thing to note is with these types of compositions that C9 does have, your Baron take is relatively slow. Senna is not a high DPS marksman. You are not going to shred through Baron. This is not like the Kaisas and Blade of the Rune King marksman we used to see a lot in Season 9. So it is going to be a lot slower, and Mountain also does not increase your damage against that objective anymore. So that is something that is working in 100 Thieves' favor. They don't have to be as worried about any sort of rush, and now they're looking for that type of play that I was talking about, trying to pick off Licorice, but passing like ships in the night, neither one spotting each other, the wards not catching vision of each other, and now they're going to see him.
Red is gone. Licorice gets a stun into Someday. The E is on cooldown, but they can't find the re-engage, and even Vulcan came down to make sure they were safe. So, Cloud9, even with a little bit of luck in that case, that definitely could have turned sideways. Licorice happened to get away, gets away from Meteos, and he's going to be just fine here as the red buff is stolen, and we still tick down the time until the Cloud Soul is up. Just for some extra engage tools, extra movement speed, certainly can matter in the fight.
Yeah, it really can, right? I think not all the champions get a ton out of it. I think Morgana really is the best for it. Camille, great, you got move speed, but they're locked in the circle with you.
The thing anyway,
Lee Sin maybe can run away or something after you kick them. Nautilus, you can run in a little bit faster to follow up on your engage, but Senna getting very little from that if you're looking at those champions. Yeah, because you are kind of locked in while you're ulting, and the move speed becomes less necessary. But, of course, the 10% flat move speed, I think, is one of the most prized parts of that soul. Yeah, I think it's more of the overall power. Now there is a fight down to the bottom side of the map, and half health on both these top laners. A big hold over on a Someday, trying to run, and Death Stance was enough, so Sven gets the kill credit from across the map. And now it's Ryoma forced to get away as well. Hits the blast cone, jumps out. Yeah, getting away there from Niski's ultimate, so that is pretty big. But now your top laner is down. So Camille has free reign on the bot side. Cloud9 can push mid, can push bot. I think at the very least they're going to be able to get a tower here or threaten the Baron. If not both, it's going to be pretty tough, I think, for 100 Thieves to hold on to all their objectives at this point, as Camille will get that bottom tier 2. Turrets keep falling down. C9 winning in the side lanes. All right, the Morgana was counterpicked into LeBlanc. The Camille counterpicked into the Aatrox. And C9 keep finding the matchups. They keep finding the ways to tear this map open. To give away so little on this game. 6,000 now with their gold lead. They're taking away the opposing jungle, and they're just 50 seconds away from the Cloud Soul. Maybe 100 Thieves can contest. Maybe they buy another 5 minutes here. Yeah, they can definitely try, and I think they will. I think when you're already this far down, giving up Soul often feels like you've lost the game, so teams perhaps will decide to make their stand there. The other side of that coin is if you say, hey, well, at least it's not combat stats. Let's try to wait and scale and hope that Cloud9 messes up. But Cloud9 has been playing a pretty airtight game. 100 Thieves looking to try to make a play here around mid lane, but Licorice is behind them, and I don't think they know it. Cody Sun's in trouble. Cody Sun has to flash it away, but now Licorice in a bit of a 1v2, but a nice anchor buys some time against Stunt now. Look for the re-engage. Gonna find another route there, gonna hit on 2 people. Here comes the fight. Big damage across. Bullet time over the top. Big shield, though. No kills either side just yet, but how is Jarvan getting out? And he is not. Sven is on a rampage. Jungler dead, and the Cloud is
spawning. This is pretty much an uncontestable trade.
Yeah, pretty much guarantees that Cloud9 are going to be able to grab this soul. And again, all the time just not able to access those carries. They pressure Cody Sun so heavily, he has to back off. And then the only thing your bullet time is actually hitting is a stone-plated Nautilus who's going to get Senna ulted, right? And it's just not enough. So Cloud9 running straight up to the Baron now. Still 12 seconds on Meteos. They can at the very least threaten it. Licorice is pushing in mid lane. They use the Spooky Ghost to actually scout out if anyone's in that area. No one is, so Cloud9 are on it, and they're going to go for it.
This is going to be a pretty easy Baron here as well, but they're going to try to fight. They're going to have to. Meteos is alive,
Slow,
running
though.
from the base. It is a slow fight. Ram going to look for some poke. Gets queued, gets away. Looking again as Sven turns his team a little invisible. Slow comes down, Anchorcross comes in. They found the A-Tracks. Here comes the hard engage, and someday he is going to drop a 1-for-0. And the ult pulls him back in. He can't get away. The Octagon just too far from the side, a 2-for-0, and a re-engage yet again. Cloud9 have everything they need to win this game.
Yeah, well, their Baron isn't that fast. It is very safe because of all the healing and shielding they have here with Senna in that pit. So they're able to start it up, make 100 Thieves come in contest, and then look for the turn with the Nautilus. Strong engage, really paying dividends here and getting kills on both the Soul laners. They've got the Baron, they've got a 9,000 gold lead, and the Soul. Cloud9 playing this out really intelligently. There's no reason to 50-50 this. You don't have to go for those sorts of risky plays when you're in this power position. So instead, they use the Shroud. That hook just barely tagging Meteos. The hitbox on that really is massive, and that's got to be frustrating for Someday. As he does get tagged, and then Ryoma, once the ult is cast by Licorice, there's no escaping that. It doesn't matter how many times you try to distort over the wall. You're coming right back.
Well, they're going to do their very best to stay alive here. The time is running out pretty rapidly. 9,000 gold lead, Baron buff on, Cloud Soul on. I would not play for Elder Dragon, by the way, on the G9 side. Maybe Licorice can be at least knocked up. He puts the ult down to buy a few more seconds, but there's so much damage coming in. Oh, he actually going to find a re-kill, and it's owned the Guardian Angel down. So here comes the reinforcements, and someday he's going to drop now as well. Licorice will not die. He's 3-1-8. And a 2-for-0 when they thought they caught him.
Yeah, I think that'll do it. I mean, it's a valiant effort there from 100 Thieves. You've got to try something risky like this when you are up against it. But with those kills, they can just march straight down mid lane. They have the Baron buff, and I don't think 100 Thieves have anywhere close to the wave clear they need to hold on.
Probably not. Edge of Night pop by Realm, and not going to really be enough. Here's the turrets are falling, and hey, it's slower than their average. 100 Thieves made them work for it, but Cloud9 going to remain undefeated. Going to be the first LCS team to go 4-0 in 2020. As look for a bit more damage. One final team fight to pad the KDA's stunt. Going to add a final death. The Nexus going to drop, and Cloud9 are the team to beat in North America.
Four and 0. It's been a hell of a couple weeks for Cloud9. Going to be really happy about how they are playing here on the LCS stage. And I've got to say, this one felt like a bit of a draft kingdom to me. It felt like Cloud9 really had their opponent's number. I think the picks were incredibly intelligent. The last pick, Morgana, very unexpected into the LeBlanc, and it felt like it shut down so many of the options that 100 Thieves had. They had side lane advantage with the Camille. They had support for that Camille to play even more aggressively with the Senna. They had, a pushing and winning mid lane that is more useful in the team fights with the Morgana. It just felt like they had kind of checked all the boxes, and they played really well with that to close out what was a very clean game, it felt like, start to finish.
Looking really good. KDA King Meteos when he entered the scene here on Cloud9 himself, but Sven on the side, deathless in 4 games. Probably the KDA King of probably the world professionally so far right now. Doing absolutely amazing. Niski is happy. The whole Cloud9 squad got to be happy with the fact that, they